You ate well all day. No salt, no junk, no soda, no fried food. You were careful about everything that went into your mouth, and then you check your blood pressure before bed and the number is high. Again, you sit there confused, frustrated, maybe even a little scared, because you did everything right, and it still did not work. Here's what I want you to understand right now. That is not your fault, and it is not bad luck either. That spike you are seeing at night is your body sending you a very specific signal, a signal that has nothing to do with what you ate for dinner. And today, I am going to show you exactly what that signal means, what is causing it, and 5 specific things you can do starting tonight to bring those numbers down for good. Stay with me until the end, because reason number 3 is the one that shocks almost every senior I have ever spoken to. Most people have no idea it is happening to them right now while they sleep. Most people think blood pressure follows food directly. You eat badly, it goes up. You eat well, it comes down. That feels logical. That is what most of us were told. But that is not how your body actually works, especially after the age of 60. Your blood pressure follows a 24-hour internal rhythm. Think of it like a tide. It rises in the early morning when you first wake up. It stays relatively steady through the middle of the day, and it should drop sometimes by 10 to 20% when you fall asleep at night. Doctors have a name for this nighttime drop. They call it dipping. A healthy body dips at night. The heart gets a break. The arteries relax. The whole system rests and repairs itself while you sleep. But here is the problem. After 60, especially if you have had years of high blood pressure, stress, poor sleep, or certain medical conditions, your body slowly loses this ability to dip at night. The tide stops going out. Your pressure stays high even while you are lying completely still with your eyes closed, doing absolutely nothing. And you wake up the next morning with numbers that make no sense given how carefully you ate the day before. That is what is happening to you. And it is not about last night's dinner. It is about 5 specific things going on inside your body after dark. Let me walk you through every single one. Reason number 1 is your kidneys panicking at night because they are not getting enough water. Your kidneys work all day filtering your blood and removing waste. They need water to do this job properly. But here is something most seniors do not realize. As we get older, our sense of thirst becomes weaker, much weaker. A 65-year-old can be significantly dehydrated and feel almost no thirst at all. So most seniors go through their entire day drinking far less water than their kidneys need without ever feeling particularly thirsty. By the time evening comes, your kidneys are running low. And when your kidneys sense they are running low on fluid, they do something very specific. They release a hormone called aldosterone. Think of aldosterone as your body's emergency water conservation signal. It tells every cell in your body to hold on to sodium, hold on to water, do not let anything out. But here is the problem with that. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream. More water in your bloodstream means more volume. More volume means more pressure pushing against your artery walls. Your heart has to work harder to push all of that extra fluid through. And this process hits its peak between midnight and 3 in the morning, which is exactly why so many seniors wake up at that specific time, feeling their heart beating hard or their head throbbing. The fix is remarkably simple and costs absolutely nothing. Drink 1 full glass of water, about 250 milliliters, exactly 1 hour before you go to bed. Not right before bed because that will send you to the bathroom all night. 1 hour before. This gives your kidneys just enough fluid to work through the night without triggering that aldosterone panic response. And here is something extra that makes a real difference. Add a tiny pinch, and I mean tiny, just a small pinch of natural sea salt to that glass of water. Not table salt. Natural sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. The reason is simple. Plain water without any minerals passes through your body very quickly, especially as we age. Adding a small amount of natural salt helps your body actually absorb and hold on to that water through the night so your kidneys have what they need for hours and not just for the first 20 minutes. Reason number 2 is cortisol, your stress hormone, refusing to switch off at night. In a young, healthy body, cortisol follows a very clean rhythm. It peaks in the early morning. That is actually what wakes you up and gives you energy to start the day, and then it drops steadily through the afternoon and falls to its lowest point in the evening, allowing your body to relax and sleep deeply. But after years of chronic stress, illness, poor sleep, or simply the wear of aging, this rhythm breaks down. Cortisol stops dropping at night the way it should. It stays elevated. And elevated cortisol does something very specific to your cardiovascular system. It keeps your arteries in a constant state of low-level tension. The muscle layer around your arteries stays slightly contracted and squeezed arteries mean higher pressure even when you are lying completely still doing nothing at all. This is not about being worried or anxious about something specific. Most seniors with this pattern feel perfectly calm before bed. The problem is not in their mind. It is in their body chemistry. Their system has simply forgotten how to switch from alert mode into rest mode. The off switch has worn out. The most powerful natural solution for this is magnesium, specifically a form called magnesium glycinate. Magnesium is a mineral that acts directly on your nervous system. It crosses into the brain and activates what scientists call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's rest and repair mode. It essentially presses that off switch your body has forgotten how to press on its own. Take 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 30 minutes before bed. I want to be specific about the form because it matters enormously. Not magnesium oxide, as that mostly stays in your digestive system. Not magnesium citrate for this purpose. Magnesium glycinate specifically because the glycine molecule attached to it has its own calming effect on the brain, and it absorbs into the bloodstream far more efficiently than other forms. Most seniors over 60 are significantly deficient in magnesium without knowing it. The kidneys excrete more magnesium as we age. Many common medications, including blood pressure medications, diuretics, and proton pump inhibitors, deplete magnesium further. And most modern diets simply do not contain enough of it. So, this one change of adding magnesium glycinate at night addresses both the cortisol problem and a widespread nutritional deficiency at the same time. Tell me in the comments right now. Do you check your blood pressure in the morning and find it higher than your evening reading? Write morning high or evening high. I want to see how many of you are experiencing this exact pattern. It will only take you 5 seconds, and it helps me understand what you need most. Reason number 3 is something called sleep apnea, and this is the one that shocks almost every senior I speak to. Sleep apnea means your airway partially or completely closes for a few seconds at a time while you are sleeping. When this happens, your brain immediately detects that oxygen levels are dropping. It treats this as a life-threatening emergency. It fires off a powerful stress signal through your nervous system. Your heart rate jumps, your blood vessels clamp down hard, your blood pressure spikes suddenly and dramatically, and then your airway opens again. You take a breath, everything settles. And then it happens again, and again, sometimes dozens of times per hour, sometimes hundreds of times per night. You feel none of this consciously. You do not wake up fully. You have no memory of it in the morning. You just wake up feeling exhausted, foggy, and confused with a blood pressure reading that makes absolutely no sense, given how carefully you lived the day before. Here is the most important thing I want you to hear about sleep apnea. You do not have to snore loudly to have it. That is the biggest myth that causes people to miss this diagnosis for years. Loud snoring is one sign, but it is not the only sign. Many seniors, especially women over 60, have what doctors call silent sleep apnea. No dramatic snoring, just quiet, repeated breathing interruptions that are slowly damaging their cardiovascular system night after night. Here are the signs I want you to pay attention to. Waking up with a headache in the morning, even a mild one. Feeling genuinely tired even after what felt like a full night of sleep. Waking up with a dry mouth. Feeling mentally foggy or slow in the first hour or two after waking. And most importantly for this video, a morning blood pressure reading that is consistently 15 to 20 points higher than your evening reading. That gap between your evening and morning pressure is one of the strongest warning signs of nighttime breathing problems. A gap that large tells you that something is happening while you sleep that is repeatedly spiking your pressure through the night. If these signs match your experience, please bring this up with your doctor and ask specifically about a sleep study. A sleep study is painless, and most can now be done at home with a simple device you wear overnight. And treating sleep apnea has brought blood pressure numbers down more powerfully and more consistently than almost any medication or food change ever could. I have seen seniors reduce or eliminate blood pressure medications entirely after treating sleep apnea that had gone undiagnosed for years. Reason number 4 is that your blood pressure medication may be working at completely the wrong time of day. This surprises almost everyone. Most seniors take their blood pressure medication in the morning. That is standard practice. That is what most doctors recommend. And for many people it works perfectly well. But research published over the last several years has completely changed how we think about medication timing, especially for seniors whose pressure spikes specifically at night. A landmark study followed over 19,000 patients for an average of 6 years. Half took their blood pressure medications in the morning as usual. The other half took at least one of their medications at bedtime. The bedtime group had nearly half the number of heart attacks and strokes compared to the morning group. Same medications, same doses, same patients, just a different time of day. Completely different result. The reason this works is simple. If your pressure is spiking specifically at night between midnight and 6 a.m., then morning medication has often worn off by the time your pressure peaks. Taking medication at bedtime means the active period of the medication aligns precisely with when your body needs it most. Now, I want to be very clear about this. Do not change your medication timing on your own without speaking to your doctor first. Blood pressure medications work in different ways, and some are not appropriate to take at night. But do have this specific conversation at your next appointment. Write this down if you need to. Ask your doctor, given that my pressure is higher in the morning than the evening, should I consider taking any of my medications at bedtime instead? That one question asked at one appointment has changed the trajectory of thousands of seniors' blood pressure management completely. Reason number 5 is not what you ate for dinner. It is when you ate it. You avoided salt. You had vegetables. You skipped the heavy foods. You genuinely ate well. But you ate at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or later, and your body is still actively digesting that meal when you try to fall asleep an hour later. Here is what happens inside your body during digestion. Your digestive system needs a massive increase in blood flow to break down food and absorb nutrients. Your stomach, your small intestine, your liver all need significantly more blood during digestion. To deliver that blood, your heart has to work harder. Your blood pressure rises to push more blood toward your digestive organs. This is completely normal and healthy during the day when your body is active. But when you are lying down trying to sleep and your heart is still working hard to power digestion, your pressure stays elevated when it should be dropping. The single most effective fix for this costs absolutely nothing and requires no medication and no supplements. Finish your last meal of the day by 7 p.m. at the latest, ideally 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. Give your body a minimum of 3 hours, ideally 4 to complete the active phase of digestion before you lie down. That window alone, just moving dinner 2 hours earlier, has produced meaningful reductions in morning blood pressure readings for seniors without changing a single ingredient on their plate. If you get hungry in the evening, a small snack of something that digests quickly and easily is perfectly fine. A small handful of walnuts, a few slices of cucumber, a small cup of herbal tea with a teaspoon of honey. These digest quickly, do not spike blood sugar significantly, and do not trigger the sustained digestive blood flow that a full meal requires. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Margaret. She was 64 years old. She had been managing high blood pressure for almost 4 years. She was on 2 medications. She ate carefully and genuinely carefully. She walked every morning. She had cut out salt almost completely. She did everything her doctor told her. But every single morning she woke up and her pressure was between 155 and 165 over 90 to 98. Her evening readings were always better around 132 to 138 over 82. Her doctor kept increasing her medication. A second medication was added, and still, the morning numbers would not come down. When we looked at her habits closely, we found all 5 of the reasons I just described showing up together at the same time. She was drinking almost no water after 4 p.m. because she was afraid of waking up to use the bathroom at night, so her kidneys were panicking every single night, releasing aldosterone and holding on to sodium. She had been under significant family stress for over 2 years, and her cortisol had never properly reset. Her body had completely lost its ability to switch off at night. Her husband had mentioned she snored occasionally, but she had dismissed it for years. A sleep study later confirmed moderate sleep apnea causing repeated pressure spikes through the night that she had no awareness of. She was taking both her medications first thing in the morning, meaning they had largely worn off by the time her pressure was peaking between 2 and 5 a.m. And she was eating dinner between 8 and 9 p.m. every night because that was simply when her family ate together. One by one, we addressed each reason. Water with a pinch of sea salt 1 hour before bed. Magnesium glycinate every night 30 minutes before sleeping. A sleep study and treatment for the apnea that followed. A conversation with her doctor that resulted in one medication being moved to bedtime. And dinner shifted from 8:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. She kept eating with her family but simply ate a smaller portion earlier and joined them at the table with herbal tea while they finished. After 4 weeks, her morning pressure had dropped to 141/86. After 2 months, it was consistently sitting between 128 and 134/78/84. After 4 months working closely alongside her doctor, the entire time, one of her 2 medications was reduced in dose. She told me she felt more rested, more mentally clear, and calmer than she had felt in almost a decade, and she had not changed a single food on her plate. She had only changed what her body was doing and not doing after dark. Here is the simple truth I want you to take away from everything we covered today. Nighttime blood pressure spikes are almost never about the food you ate during the day. They are about 5 specific things your body is doing or failing to do while you sleep. Kidneys that are dehydrated and releasing pressure, raising hormones. A stress system that has forgotten how to switch off at night. Breathing interruptions your brain treats as repeated, life-threatening emergencies. Medication that is working at the wrong time and wearing off precisely when your pressure peaks. And a digestive system that is still running hard when your body desperately needs to rest and repair. Fix those 5 things systematically, patiently, in conversation with your doctor, and your morning readings will change. Not overnight, but within weeks, you will begin to see numbers you have not seen in years. And more importantly, you will feel the difference in how you sleep, how you wake up, how clear your head feels, and how much energy you carry through the day. This video is for education only. Always talk to your doctor before making any changes to your medication or health routine, especially if you are already on blood pressure medication. Here is exactly what to do starting tonight. Keep it simple and start with what you can do immediately. Tonight, drink 1 full glass of water with a tiny pinch of sea salt exactly 1 hour before bed. Finish eating your last meal before 7 p.m. Take 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 30 minutes before you sleep. Tomorrow morning, write down your blood pressure reading the moment you wake up before you get out of bed or drink anything. Do this every morning and every evening for 2 full weeks. That record is gold. Take it to your doctor. At your next appointment, bring your 2-week blood pressure log. Ask specifically about medication timing. Ask whether a sleep study might be appropriate given your morning readings. Have that conversation armed with real information. Day by day, keep dinner early. Keep the water habit. Keep the magnesium. Give your body 4 to 6 weeks to respond. The changes are real, but they take time to build. You are not removing anything from your life. You are simply giving your body what it needs to do at night, what it was always designed to do. Rest, repair, and wake you up tomorrow with numbers that finally make sense. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you love who is fighting their blood pressure numbers every morning. They need to hear this. And if you want to know which single vitamin most seniors over 60 are critically missing, one that silently causes fatigue, weak bones, joint pain, and surprisingly also raises blood pressure, I made a video explaining exactly that. Watch it next. I will see you there.